Hello, I'm David Rose, and here's a look at some of our top cases featured this weekend on Washington's Most Wanted, starting with Seattle police. Robbery detectives need your help to identify a cocky little crook, an armed robbery suspect wanted after he stole more than $3,000 worth of vaping products. It happened at a gas station in the Wallingford neighborhood. So first, I want to give you a good look at his face. This was taken as he's walking into the Chevron store on North 45th Street just before 2:30 a.m. on Sunday, August 2nd. Now we'll start the video. Now watch this. He looks over, pauses, and points at the clerk, making sure he knows where he is. Well, he walks just past the lotto machine, then he turns back and points again. He starts heading over to the counter and he grabs a bag of chips on the way. Police say he asked the clerk for a carton of Newport 100s, but he was told they don't sell them by the carton. So he asked for 10 packs and told the clerk to put them in a bag. And that's when he pulled out what detectives think is a .45 caliber semi-automatic handgun.
So he points it at him and he says, "Put all the cigarettes in the bag, I'm going to shoot you in the belly." And that's a direct quote. If you watch real close in the bottom of his hand, you see that it has an extended clip, which to me means that that particular weapon has about 15 rounds capability.
Well, the suspect also demanded the cash in the register. The clerk complies and gives him the money and the cigarettes, but this thief wasn't done yet. He spots a glass case full of vaping products.
He picks it up, the whole thing, and you watch on the tape, he struggles with it as he heads to the door with his bag of cigarettes and so forth and cash, and then he heads out the door, heads eastbound on North 45th.
Seattle police described the armed robbery suspect as black, in his late teens to early 20s. He's small, around 5 feet tall, and weighs 150 pounds.
When I look at that gun and I watch this guy, it appears to me that he knows how to handle it. And I look at that extra length clip, and this guy is very dangerous.
So again, this was in Wallingford on August 2nd. If you saw him walking down the street with that case, or if you can tell Seattle police anything to help identify him, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound will pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Submit that anonymous tip through the P3 Tips app or call 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, a woman in Kitsap County is hoping that her heartbreaking story will help reunite her family after 3 of her beloved dogs were stolen right out of her own backyard. Here's a look at the suspect vehicle. The victim says the SUV was seen parked in front of her home around the time of the theft. Washington's Most Wanted's A.J. Janabel shows how you can help bring these dogs home.
A lock always sits secured on Carla Martin's fence.
Can't get in or out.
Unfortunately, this lock is not enough to keep what Martin holds closest to her heart safe.
Very hard to talk about.
Behind this fence sits Martin's dog, Millie. But for Millie and Martin, the last few weeks have been a lot lonelier.
They got out, they took my 3 dogs, and they left.
Martin says someone came to her home and coaxed her dogs to that locked fence, then stole them.
They went through the fence. They had to have gone through the gate.
Stolen from her. Lily, Taz, and Grover. The youngest, Martin says, is deaf and partially blind. And she says all of these dogs are rescues.
Please give me my dogs back. I just want my dogs back, that's all.
They were her source of comfort and solace.
Kitsap County Sheriff officials say they are working the case, but do not have much information. They're hoping someone from the community can help.
They left me 1 dog.
The lock still sits on the fence, but Martin no longer feels as secure.
We just want our family back.
So here's a look at the vehicle of interest that was seen outside Carla's home around the time the dogs were stolen. Detectives say there was a woman driving the vehicle. She had dark hair with some gray streaks in it, but they don't know who this could be. The dogs have possibly been spotted in Tacoma. So if you have any information at all that can identify a suspect or help Carla find those 3 little dachshunds, submit a tip to Crime Stoppers through the P3 Tips app or call the Kitsap County Sheriff's Office or heck, dial 911. Let's get those dogs back to her. That's bad enough when someone steals your car, but to have it taken at gunpoint, well, that's just terrifying and reprehensible. Tonight, SeaTac police are trying to identify these 2 suspects. You get a really good look at that guy in the red hoodie as they waited for the light rail at the Rainier Beach Station on June 27th. Detectives say they took it to the Tukwila International Blvd station, and that's where you see them coming up the escalator. They went into the parking lot and they just loitered around for a while before getting back on the light rail. They then rode it to the SeaTac International Blvd station. And detectives say within minutes of getting off at about 11:20 p.m., they attempted to carjack one car unsuccessfully when the driver wouldn't stop. And then they jumped in front of a second vehicle driving west on South 176th Street.
One of them was armed with a handgun. They pointed the handgun at the driver to get them to stop, and then the suspects ordered both occupants out of the vehicle. Both of the suspects got into that Honda Accord once the victims were out, and they took off at a high rate of speed northbound on International Boulevard South. The victims didn't even have time to get their wallets out of the car. They left their cell phones in the car. They didn't grab anything prior to being held at gunpoint and then quickly exiting the car.
Deputies later found that Honda, but everything inside was gone. And now they're hoping one of you watching tonight can identify either of these suspects.
This is a very terrifying situation for anybody, especially somebody just driving along, minding their own business, and then somebody jumps in front of their car with a gun. So we owe it to them to try to find out who these suspects are.
So take one more good look at them. Detectives think they're in their late teens, maybe early 20s. If you can identify either of them, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound will pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000. That's a look at some of the cases featured this weekend on Washington's Most Wanted. Join me for the full show at a special time tonight after Seahawks Training Camp Live. Will be on at midnight on Q13 Fox, but will also air tomorrow night, Saturday at 10 p.m. on Joe TV. That's Channel 10, Channel 21, and Sunday on Q13 Fox at midnight. Now, Washington's Most Wanted also airs at 10:30 p.m. every Saturday on Fox TV stations in Spokane, Yakima, and the Tri-Cities. Let's make sure these criminals have nowhere left to hide.